Hey, what's up, guys? On a side note, I think I'm gonna start filming these things horizontally. I don't know. I've been starting a trend, or I've been. I don't know. I'll just do what I do. But anyway, I'm gonna make this video about epic wins. So the idea of this video is to win at life, and for everything you do to at least be a good story in the end, but a good story you can tell it to someone. So about this, you should live with the mindset of if I were to do it, would it be a good story? And you should live with the mindset of what a win is. It's when you tell that story and everyone cheers. Or at least you tell the story and someone lights up and it's like, wow, that's a really good story. Anyway, this is the epic win, epic fail installment in the Pickup Artist series. So with that having been said, here we go. My first thing to say about the epic win, epic fail mindset is where your story begins and what it's about. So if you're a traveler, start with the journey. If you're a pickup artist, start with how the night goes. And if you're just a person in life, telling your life story, start from there. But anyway, gotta pick this thing up. It's bothering me. The idea is to start with, well, how about this? I'll start with the idea and the mindset of how to share your story with someone else. So if you come from a mindset of travel and fascination, so find out what it is that makes it fascinating and share it while making sure that aspect is highlighted. If you're all about the adventure like I was when I was traveling also, as well as the highlights, highlight that or make note of that when you're talking, and make it clear what it is about it, but spark in the person you're talking to or in someone the sense of adventure, kind of like what you felt whenever you were traveling. But also keep in mind why you did it and for your own reasons, and have a story about it. So if someone asks you personal reasons or the reason you left and decided to go travel, share. Feel free to share. And for me, I wanted the personal challenge of fending for myself. Well, I won't say that. I'll say I wanted the experience of finding my own way in life. That's what I did. And it really paid off for me. It was really rewarding for me. So I ended up having some great experiences. I ended up being really self-sufficient as a result. And I ended up having some great tales to share, which you can all check out at talesonthebucketlist.org. Or sorry, not .org, .com, my site. But anyway, the next part, and I'll go back to touch on this, is about the epic win, epic fail. Well, actually, I'll just keep talking about that. Because I traveled a lot of places, but for different reasons after the fact. I traveled to China because I had a summer free, and it's something I always wanted to do, and I never thought I'd have the time to do it again, so I just did. And that's why I got to explore that whole area, which is fascinating, by the way. So if you never get the chance to go there, just keep in mind it's a beautiful place. But if you want to go there and you have the time and the money, make a trip. The visa is kind of a pain because it takes a while to get, but if you can get it, you can go. So it's awesome. Anyway, the next thing I was going to talk about is, well, I'll say this. There's a lot of different reasons to travel and a lot of different ways to travel, specifically. So if you want to travel on a backpacker's budget, you can travel on a backpacker's budget. If you're more about higher class, like I was the second time I traveled, I didn't really stay in hostels, but I stayed in like cheap hotels. So I was technically off the hostel thing, so I didn't feel like a dirty backpacker, but I still wasn't paying. I wasn't traveling cheaply. They weren't really cheap hotels, but I was traveling at the type of hotels which were, I'll say, budget conscious, because they were. And they really kind of helped me to go through China without spending too much money, and while still having a good, enjoyable experience, in my opinion. So that. Plus, if you're traveling alone and you're in China, and there aren't many other backpackers, it's kind of nice to have a place to yourself. You kind of reflect on everything on your own and charge your phone and that kind of stuff. Not having to worry about the whole, because I mean, at first it's fun. In South America, I forget if I stayed at hostels mostly or not, but it's fun to like meet new people, like share your story and like talk about and travel. But after a while, like if you're traveling around China, and you get jaded, it's kind of nice just to have your own place and just shack up and relax. Not have to worry about anything else. So you can plan your day and eat your food, and if you bring food back to the hotel like I always did, and plan your next day. Or, I don't know if I already said that or not, I don't remember. But gotta plan your trip like I did. But anyway, that's just kind of something to keep in mind if you want the alternative kind of travel than what I was pitching at first. Anyway, both are good styles of travel, and both are just different. So depending on what you're looking for in your trip, consider both or either. Budget travel is probably more catered towards, I'd say either, because you can do either on a budget, But if you're looking to meet new people or to explore, maybe try the hostel routes because of tours. It's really easy to meet people and kind of just like see what's up and schedule things. It's also easier to meet new people and go out or share stories, like I was talking about before. But it's also a really cool way just to kind of get in the backpacker mindset, the kind of your own adventure kind of mindset mentality. So keep that in mind. But also know that after a while, you're going to be like doing a lot of ice breaking, and it's going to get really kind of wearing down on your psyche. So keep that in mind, because you might need at least one night at a hotel just to, relax on your own, and not, kind of burn out from the whole socializing thing 24/7. Because, I'll stop there. But I'll say this, it's kind of nice to have some people when you're traveling, because after a while, it gets weird seeing only different people every single day. And you would think after a while, you'd kind of want to see the same people, because it's kind of what we're used to as humans. But anyway, don't let it get you down. It's awesome while it lasts. But if it is something that goes on for too long, just know that you can always break it up with something. So like a hotel stay, or just maybe a tour somewhere else, or a trip to somewhere quiet. I don't know. But anyway, because it's up to you. But anyway, the idea of sharing that story is what I think is the coolest thing. You can either tell it to people and just keep it ingrained in your memory, or you can do what I did, start a travel vlog, which is what I recommend. Because if your stories, or if you have like some cool tales to tell, you have some awesome stories from your trip, people are going to hear about them. This is awesome. If you did it more as a vacation, maybe just tell your friends from work. Don't worry about it too much, because starting a blog over one vacation is kind of not the most practical use of your time. But who knows? You can post on Instagram, it'd be awesome. Post it on Facebook for sure. And maybe just tweet about it, because people may want to hear. Maybe they're interested in your trip or your travels. But anyway, aside from that, if you do travel heavily, consider a blog, because a lot of people would love to hear about your trip and about what your experiences were. If nothing else, then to benchmark and get some information for themselves and just know what it's kind of like there and where they kind of fall in the spectrum of what's it going to be like for me, what do I have to bring, what do I have to do. Because I know a lot of the time I was in New Orleans working here in my free time. I was researching things like how to pack for a trip, how to prepare yourself for like 6 months abroad, things like that. It really helped to have some resources online that I could refer to. So keep that in mind as you write, just what your readers are looking for and how you can help them if they're looking for something specific. I don't know. But anyway, on to my next point, because I think I spent enough time there talking about that, and I have spent enough time there talking about that. So yeah, as I was saying, spent enough time talking about that. But anyway, I'll move on to the next thing, and that's the idea of the epic story, which is telling your bros, yo, here's what happened last night. Get this, like buy into this. Here's what I did. I met this chick. We went out. We were drinking at a bar. We went outside. We went to walk around. I'll tell you a story. Yo, so bros, listen up. The other night, I was out with my boy Andrew Bird. It was basically the Dragon's Den. It was popping, yo. We rolled out like kind of late. I don't know. I think we were pre-gaming this place first. Like we do it at Penn State. But anyway, we rolled out to this place called the Dragon's Den. I just said, what the fuck am I doing? But we rolled in there like at some time, kind of late in the evening. It doesn't matter. Anyway, as soon as I walked in, I spotted this hot girl on the dance floor. Immediately walked up, said, hey, what's up? What's your name? She introduced me. She told me her name. Ipso facto, 5 minutes later, or not even, we were making it on the dance floor. She dropped me her number. She was kind of drunk. She was really drunk. And I didn't feel comfortable taking her home. So she gave me her number. I told her, and she said she was staying for the weekend. I told her I'd call her back maybe the next day. But I wasn't really feeling it, so I didn't really make the mental effort to, or the bodily effort to. So I didn't call her back the next day. But anyway, I took her number down. I was like, yeah, I'll call you the next day. I'll call you tomorrow. But I was drunk too, so I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'll tell her this because I don't want to be mean, that kind of thing. But anyway, after that, I went back to Andrew and he's like, yo, you kidding me, dude? You just met that girl. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I shouldn't be telling you this. But anyway, I made an effort to, we ended up, I think, taking off after that. But anyway, that was just how one night in New Orleans went for me. So here you go, bro. This is a story. So the elements of a story are everything. It's what makes a story cool is that you fucking won whatever it is you're trying to set out to do. So keep that in mind if you're telling a story. If you're the pretentious story, you better fucking win. Otherwise, the lamest story on earth. If you're telling a story that's like different, like just a crazy story, just keep it at its elements, Don't worry about tweaking it. This one time, I told Lam Kai, this fraternity I was pledging at when I was in college, about one time when I was, one time I was drunk. and I was out with my friend Bill. We were doing the apartment crawl. We were going from like apartment to apartment. We might have hit like 7 apartments or like 8 apartments or 9 apartments in the night. I don't know. I was pretty drunk, but needless to say, by like the time we left like the 2nd or 3rd apartment, I was already blacked out. So everything from there was like really spotty. I do remember one snapshot, and it's that I was hooking up with a girl, but I don't remember too much because I remember 2 things and they're both groggy. I remember making out with a girl, and I remember taking a girl's clothes off in bed with her, but it being in someone else's bed. And those are the only 2 things I remember from that night in regards to my memory. Ipso facto, at the end of the night, I woke up in a parking garage without pants on and without shoes on either, and I was trying to get in a car. And all I had with me was a single Coors Light in my back pocket, and I think there's a bag of McDonald's like strewn, like thrown in the corner somewhere near me. So that's how my night ended. But anyway, I gotta say, that's just an epic night, I guess. It could have been awesomer, or as awesome as I remembered, but I don't remember, so I can't tell you. All I know is that it fell into the category of an epic story, so I told it. So guys, it's an epic story that happened in my life, or an epic night. I don't know, that'd be like, I guess it's an epic lose because I didn't get to remember it. Whatever it is, I'm sure it was epic. So that's all I gotta say about that. So anyway, that's just one other night in my life. So anyway, it's just a story. If you just want to tell someone a story, just tell them a story. Like earlier, like the other day, I'll make one up. The other day, I went down to the gym, and there's this girl running on the treadmill, and I made it my goal to just be as ballsy as I could, ballsier and ballsier until every single day until I hit my limit and said, okay, if my ball's getting bigger, they're gonna explode. So she's on the treadmill. I just walk up to her and it's like, hey, do you wanna fuck me? I swear to God, I said this. Just the randomest thing on earth. But I thought in my head, it's like, what's the worst that could happen? Is that she says no, or like, what the hell are you talking about? And I would just go, oh, well, if you don't want to, it's fine. Or something like that. I have no clue. So I don't know why or how, but this thought just occurred to me. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. Because if people do this on the internet, I've seen this before. There's like a whole series on the internet of like people go up to girls and just ask for sex. So it's like, you know what, I'm gonna try this at least once so I can say I've done it, because I feel like a lame-o if I've never done that even once. So I did it. And she just kind of like stopped and took her head. Was like, she didn't give that look. She just like, what? And I was like, oh, nothing, and just walked away. Because, I mean, she didn't hear me, and I couldn't explain it any differently, so I don't know. Either way, she heard me but didn't, and it was kind of did I hear you right? And I was like, oh, nothing, just, I don't know. Well, another thing about it, I don't remember what I said or what I thought, because I don't think I thought she heard me. I don't know. Anyway, if I was there right now, I'd be like, oh, I was just asking you if you're busy and you want to have sex. And depending on what she said, if she said no, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I'll just, get back to it. Or if she said no, I'd just be like, yeah, okay, cool. But anyway, that's just me and my attempt at one thing I've seen or read on the internet that is amusing in my mind. So if that ever becomes a challenge on the internet, more so than just that video and me taking it up as a challenge, then that'll just be a cool thing. But apparently I never did or was, so I don't know about that. But anyway, that's just me and my mindset on dating and girls. So just go balls to the wall, and if you fail, you fail. I don't know. Anyway, 3 stories from my life. A 4th one, you can probably just check my videos. I told you there's a ton of stories on there. I posted a lot of stories on there. But I'll tell you about one time when I already told you that story. The time I was at the pool bar. One time I was in my apartment with my roommates, and I was just cooking pasta, and my roommates were like having sex loudly, I guess. And they just came out of the apartment, like the bedroom next to me, and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm cooking. Or I was like, I'm just cooking. And they're like, oh, what are you making? I was like, spaghetti and some other stuff. And I don't remember what it was. It was like spaghetti and stuff. And they're like, oh, like, what? Like, why would you put other stuff in spaghetti? I was like, I don't know, I like to cook stuff. Like, what's your point? What's your point? And they were like, giving me a hard time. Like, why would you like try to customize spaghetti? Second of all, this is like my life's goal, to make the awesomest spaghetti recipe you could ever imagine. And that's still something that's like at the top of my like personal goal to-do list, and like really high up. It's like the recipe I want to work on, essentially. So anyway, that's what I was doing. For some reason, that was foreign to them. So they were like trying to comprehend like me and my lifestyle and how I just cook random stuff with pasta. Because I think I was like throwing hot sauce in there or something at the time. That's like my recipe now is hot sauce. But I think at the time I was throwing in like, it was like whatever you use to make curry. I was throwing that stuff in because I was making like curry spaghetti. And they're like, why wouldn't you just make like, why would you just make spaghetti? Or why wouldn't you just make just spaghetti? I mean, maybe it's the weed. I smoked weed earlier. And And I was like, I don't know, I just want to try it. That'd be cool. So it's another story from me about my life. Just me in regular life. I live my life. I'm doing things the way I want to do them, and that's just what I do. So that's me. My roommate Ian and I got along really well, by the way, and he would recognize me in a heartbeat if he saw me right now in this video. So we'd always, like, whenever we go out to bars, I know, like, there'd be like times like we'd like be about to leave, and I'd be like in my closet looking for a shirt. He'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I was like, "I gotta pick out a shirt." And he's like, "Dude, just throw on a V-neck and get the hell out of here." And I'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, man." Fine. But for me, it's like, no, I want to pick out the shirt I want to wear. So anyway, that's just a snippet from our life as college roommates senior year. But we did a lot of drinking, we did a lot of partying, and it was fun for both of us. So just keep that in mind. We had an awesome setup with all our friends, so senior year was awesome for us. But anyway. If you're a senior at Penn State or another school, hope you're having fun, hope you're living cafe, because there's nothing like the cafe weather. Just when spring hits and you can go out and drink in the foyer or whatever they call it, like that area outside. It's so nice. But anyway, college rocks, senior year rocks, but real life is pretty awesome too. So don't give it a look behind. If you don't realize that real life can be as awesome as college, but even better because you have more money and you're free. Then you're missing out on like the best part of graduation, which is realizing that life doesn't have to end after you leave college. So, but anyway, the next part of my stories I'll talk about, as far as epic win, epic fail, is see what was I talking about before? I'm gonna see. Part of me wants to go in one direction, but I'm trying to think if I was talking about something else. I'm gonna say personal epic wins and personal epic fails, and just take it on a completely different direction. Because in your life, sometimes you succeed at things, sometimes you fail, and this is actually something I want to talk about. Where if you wanted to do something in life, like you set a goal for success, and that's specific, and it's important that I put it that way. Then you gotta lay out first of all what you gotta do, and then you gotta start taking the steps to get there. And if you don't know what you gotta do, then sometimes you might get confused or lost and not know what you have to do to get there, or you make excuses and you never do that. I'm thinking of it's not dream realization so much as like there's an exact specific term for this. I know what it is. It's I can think it, but I can't like recall it right now. I don't know. It's like for forward or bear with me a second. I'm really trying to get this. Active thinking? No. That wasn't what it was. I think it's like proactive thinking or something like that. It wasn't what I was thinking of, but maybe just go with proactive thinking. I mean, that'll get you far, and that's important. But there's a specific difference between two things. But I'll just say this. I'll leave it to you to just go look up that stuff on your own. And if you want to do it, check out other people who also produce content, because they have some really good things to say, and that'll help you with that exact specific thing. There's a difference between setting goals for things you'll never do and actually taking hold of the things you can do in your life and actually setting specific goals to achieve those. So that. But what I'm going to talk about now is proactive thinking. So it's thinking ahead to what you actually want in life and then going for it. So if you are someone who wants to, say, start a company or start a business or start an entrepreneurship, then you should do whatever it takes to get those steps into place, to start those as soon as possible or as soon as you realize it is something you can feasibly do in your life and that is a priority. So that. For me, I've always wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I didn't want to work too much because I love the idea of the 4-hour work week, of doing more for less. Or doing less for more, sorry. Or maybe not either of those terms. We'll say this: of not wasting your time, of not wasting your effort, of not wasting energy, I'll say, doing things you don't really care about, or wasting time doing things that don't really need to be done, or doing things that don't really have that much importance. It's like when I was, this is like kind of a secret, but I'll let you in on it. When I was a new hire at Shell, I didn't feel like a lot of the work I was doing was, say, vital. And I didn't feel like a lot of what I was doing was, say, necessary. I didn't feel like a lot of the energy I was putting in was, say, rewarding. So based on my time and my effort, I'm a good worker, I'm a smart guy, and I could do a lot. And I'm a really competent worker too, I'll say that. So like I was good at my job and like really good. I just didn't waste my time going the extra mile just to impress the boss, because it's not gonna do well for the company in the long run. It's not gonna help their bottom line. Or it's not gonna help their booster with spreadsheets. So why would I do that when it's not actually helping anyone? Because that's the idea of a company, right? And if you're trying to help a company, the idea is to put in the work, put in the effort, put in the time to ensure the company succeeds from your role. And that's how you'd be good at your job and good at your role. But everything else was just like, why would I waste my time doing this? Why would I waste my time with this? Why would I be doing this kind of thing when I could be doing other things with my time that are more rewarding to me in my free time, is what I was getting at. I'm probably doing things at work when they don't have a return on investment immediately, or when I don't see the value in them. So when I was working my job, I didn't see things that had like value per se, so I didn't like waste my time doing them. That being said, I wasn't like lazy as a worker. I just didn't see anything that I could apply myself to and put in energy or not energy, but effort into to get like to realize a reward. So for the company, but that's kind of like where I'm coming from with that. But I don't know like how else to describe it, because like when I worked on a new asset, which is Olympus, and everything was in top working order. And the only things that I could do were like walk down and just say, yep, it's still in working order. We just built it like last week. So it was great. But like at the end of the day, I was like, what can I even do? Like there's nothing here to do. It's already like perfect. Like there's nothing else to do with it. So Justin kept recommending I go around and just look for problems. And I didn't know what to do, because like when I would just walk around, like I don't even know where to begin looking for a problem. I'm not like an inspector and I have no idea what I'd even do trying to find one, but I just did what I did. And I just like would ask people if they had any problems, and the only thing I managed to get, and this was like my main project at the time, and I won't say the only thing because it was important, was I got a PAX pump project that I kind of picked up, and it was my job to ensure the entire oil export system was working up to par. After weighing the financials of it and hearing the things, we decided to do a coating upgrade to the pump to fix the problems that it was having when it was glitching. And we set in place a operator's manual, a standard operating procedure for the PAX pumps to ensure that any control group operator who was trying to work the PAX pumps or discharge, or I was going to say something else, who was trying to do whatever he does, wouldn't cause a technical fault when he was trying to start it up or turn it down, I guess. So that. But anyway, that was my experience, that was my job, and that was my project. I did well at all three. I succeeded, and I did achieve highly. But it's tough to metric these things, and it's tough to grade and compare, because everyone was on a different asset, everyone had different jobs, everyone had different mentors and roles also too. So that, but it was cool. It gave me a great life working experience and a great opportunity to really just like get my head into a real job and like a real life experience kind of experience. So that was nice. That was great. It's also nice on my resume. It's a good company, so it's nice to have that on your resume. So I'm lucky for that. But also, at a certain point, I did feel like when I was working there, I really wanted to work for Google. That was like the kind of mindset of company I wanted to work for. But I don't know. When I applied for other jobs and companies, I just couldn't find any listings that fit anything I wanted to do, because they're all in IT. I'm not big in working in that department because it just bores me to hell. So I set my mindset, well, I'll say this. As soon as after I left Shell, my main focus was on working, was on traveling. So that was my number one priority. That's what I made my number one priority. So after leaving, I had planned about all my trips out that I wanted to do ever. And the number one thing I wanted to do at that point in time was South America. So I made that my priority, and I capitalized on it and just went for it. So I figured if I have the time and I have the money from working, why not do an awesome trip? Because I'll never have the freedom again to do it. Because if I'm working at another 9-to-5 job, then I'll never be able to do it. I'll be stuck just doing the 2-week vacations, and I'll never get to see the world the way I could. And never get to have the experience of being a backpacker and be free at the time I was in Southeast Asia, which really gave me the travel bug, by the way. Anyway, that's why I chose to go to South America, and that's why I chose to make the most of that opportunity and that freedom. So it was awesome. On a side note, I met another guy while I was traveling. I think I told you the story, but we also worked for Shell and got caught up in the same kind of layoff thing the company did when they realized they had too much money and not enough workers that they considered vital. So he was doing the same thing. He realized he had the time and the money too. So he was traveling around Eastern Europe and Europe, and also New Zealand, some other cool places. So I thought that was really interesting. But anyway, I'll get back to talking about my job kind of transition to real life. And that's the idea that I got valuable work experience, but that I realized a lot of things. That's that companies aren't always as rigid as you might think. And that if you want to start your own business, you can in real life and on earth. And it's not necessarily as out of your dreams and out of your league as you might think at first. So if you dream it and you think it, you can do it. That's probably the 3 most important things I learned at Shell. Is after meeting this one guy at UB00 class, he told me about this trip he took to Antarctica, sponsored by the company. I was like, wow, that's like something I only ever dreamed of. He told me that he did it and that I could do it too. And I just realized at that point the dreams were real. They could be possible to do in real life. So that. The second thing I noticed was that companies aren't always as rigid and fixed and immovable and cold as you might think. So once I realized that, I thought, wow, I can actually rise up in a company and do well because I know what it takes and what it means to actually work in a company. It's not all just like intimidation and suits. It's all about what you can actually achieve at a company, how you can do it as a leader and as a person. So once I realized that, I realized I could actually succeed in the workplace. So that was a big thing for me. And the third thing is realizing that you're capable of more than you think, but that you can build something of your own. And that's kind of the idea that I got when I was reading other people's blogs and hearing their stories and realizing you can make money in alternative ways, and you can do it for less of the strict committed time to a rigid kind of institution, I'll say. And also the last point is you can always, I was gonna say work from home, but you can always, what was I gonna say? I don't know, it'll come back to me later. Anyway, so one time I went ziplining, it was awesome. Anyway, just kidding. It was alright. You wouldn't see it on my blog, but still, just an interesting thing I've done. Aside, if you've ever gone ziplining or whitewater rafting, those are both cool activities you can do in the United States. They're really fun. They're not too rare and hard to find, at least not where I'm from, but maybe where you're from, they don't have them too much. I know whitewater rafting is mostly only in places with rivers because it is, and it's like the requirement to go whitewater rafting, but it's really fun. And if you've ever gone in like places like Yellowstone, I'm sure that's really cool. I've never gone there. I've done some stage 4 or 5 rapids, and I've done them both in Pennsylvania, which I don't remember which one was. I've also done them in Argentina too, as on a side note, and I don't remember which ones were bigger, but both were like pretty high up on the rapids rating scale, up to 4 or 5 or class, one of those two. It's like where it's like, I forget what the rating means, but something like you might tip your raft, and you should definitely keep this in mind because this is very likely kind of category, so, or categorization, yeah. Anyway, the other thing, I still can't remember, but it's something about, let's say work from home, but I guess it's the idea that you know what? I was talking about the 4-hour work week, and it was the idea you can work less and still get your due payment. I don't know. I forget what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about now. But the other point I was gonna make. Oh, it'll come to me in a sec. I just spoke to me a little bit ago. I made another video about this, but it's really like, I'm realizing now maybe it's making me blank in the head, so I don't know. But anyway, if you want to check out that video, you're welcome to. And I'm gonna try to recall the last point I had to make, which is, you know, I don't know right now off the top of my head, but it's gonna come to me, I think. So I'm gonna keep hanging out and holding out for hope. It's gonna appeal to me. And it's something to do with blogging. What I did with blogging is I laid out like a lot of the stuff via brainstorming on this like giant whiteboard I have upstairs in my annex, and I just started writing like lists of things under categories, like what are the topics I want to like kind of have the blog about. And I laid out like 4 things I thought would be good ideas to have blogs about, and then I just kind of went from there with categories, and I just started brainstorming things like names until after like 2 or 3 iterations of my site, I finally landed on the name that I really like and I like the best, which is once again talesofthebucketlist.com. So that I was thinking for a while like how I can make money alternatively through like my own kind of revenue stream, and that's where I kind of stumbled upon blogging and the online kind of entrepreneurial thing, which is getting into stuff like search engine optimization, or SEO as it's called, and things like I think it's like advertising to get most of the revenue, but things like that, which are like alternative revenue streams. Anyway, that was a cool way to go through life. It really appealed to me, so I thought it'd be something I'd kind of keep in mind because I want to pursue it at some point. So I love the idea of being an entrepreneur, just kind of working for yourself. You wake up in the morning knowing that you're in control of your life and that you kind of set the standards for what you have to achieve that day. That's really cool. But anyway, I think that maybe it's my last point that I have to make. So I'll keep it at that. But I hope you like watching this video. I hope you learned some things, and I hope you're better at achieving what you set out to succeed. So maybe I'll call this one achieving success. But anyway, see you later, players. And as always, I'm Jonathan. Peace out.